Dr. Emmanuel, Chairman of the CISC Board, members of the Executive Committee of the CISCE, the ASISC Executive Members, ladies and gentlemen, we have moved from the morning session into the afternoon, and for that we collectively thank you for your patience and for your attention. And as Father Joseph has very kindly given us time till 1:25, we will make the most use of that. According to Andreas Schleider, in his book World Class, which is about how to build a 21st century school system, he says that you, all of you present here in this hall, you are the change makers in education, and upon you, each one of you, rests the responsibility of revitalizing the school education, which is the theme of this convocation. However, if all we do is to teach our children what we know, they might remember just enough to follow in our footsteps. But if we teach them how to learn, they will go anywhere they would want to. And this is exactly what was echoed yesterday by Dr. Shashi Tharoor, when he said, and he spoke of the formation of a well-formed mind. The aim of us as educators should be to achieve both excellence in learning as well as equity in learning. Success in education today is about identity and purpose. It is about building curiosity within our children and opening their minds. It is about mobilizing their cognitive, social, and emotional resources for them to take an active part in the learning process. So let us, as educators, rekindle education in each of our individual schools so that we may help our students to realize their potential for excellence. Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Both my colleague, Mrs. Sangeeta Bhatia, and myself will take you through a presentation concerning the ICSE and the ISC examinations and matters that are related to it. Again, we have endeavored as far as possible to integrate the questions which you very enthusiastically have sent us. We received more than 200 plus questions. So in our presentation, we have tried to integrate it, and I hope it covers all that you have requested for. The ICSE section operates out of the CISC office located at Noida. It is a bureau rate storage structure located at E4 Sector 1. The ISC section operates out of the Again, CISC corporate office located at Saket in Push, Bihar. It also houses the affiliation section, the accounts section, and our Chief Executive and Secretary, Mr. Aratoon, sits at the Saket office most of the time. Although he does come to the Noida office and he also goes to the Nehru Place office, but that is where Sir sits. Now, just a bit of advice for all our principals, that kindly note these two addresses, the Saket address and the Noida address, because your correspondence should go clearly to each of the sections of the examination that you wish to communicate with. For instance, at the Noida office, all issues related to duplicate documents, verification, and the correction of documents, those should be addressed, and documents or the documents that you wanted corrected should be sent directly to the Noida office. Because what happens, most of the time, there is an urgency of getting those duplicates or getting the verification. Now when you send it to the wrong address, there is a delay, not on our part. We try to work as soon as possible. But if it goes to the wrong address, then there would be a slight delay. Now, earlier Mr. Aratoon did show you the schools that have grown over the years. And yes, the CISC has grown in numbers from very humble beginnings in 1958 to about 116 original affiliated schools, to today where we stand at 2,750 plus schools. Yes, that is worth clapping for. Please do that. Now, as far as the ICSE and how much we have grown, in the last 5 years, just to give you broad statistics, that we have grown from 2019 till date by roughly 40,000 plus students, and the schools have grown roughly of about 370 schools in these last 5 years. Similarly, for our ISC section, we have increased the candidates by about 12,000 in the last 5 years. You can see the statistics for that. And the schools too, the ISC schools, have steadily grown in these last 5 years to roughly 210 schools. And as both our chairman as well as Mr. Aratoon has rightly said, that if we are to follow the new structure, we will need to add to those numbers of our ISC schools, and we are confident that most of you will upgrade that to, so that these numbers that are reflecting this year will grow in many folds by the time we next meet. That is our confidence. The 2023 examination. Now, just an interesting fact to share with all of you is that when we prepare for an examination year, the work for us at the council begins 2 to 3 years prior to the conduct of this examination. So for the 2023 examination, we actually started in the middle of the pandemic year 2020, so that there would be a smooth flow and that schools and our students would be able to take the examination on time with little or no problems for any of you. So as far as the 2023 examination is concerned and the center arrangements, first of all, I would like to thank all our principals present and also those who are not present for your constant support and cooperation with the CISC. We as a board cannot function without your support actively. And for the center arrangements, we have shown some statistics both for the ICSE as well as the ISC, where center arrangements have been put into place thanks to the coordinating conveners and to the conveners at large. So approximately, as you can see from the statistics, we have about 600 conveners for both ICSE and ISC who are operating more than 3,700 examination centers. Logistically, for us as a board, that is a huge number. But again, I say, thanks to your active participation and cooperation that we could put all this into place. Again, for the conveners, your responsibility lies with appointing of the supervising examiners, appointing of the visiting examiners, inspectors, invigilators, and special coordinators, and all other logistics that are necessary to be put into place. Conveners are acting on behalf of the CISC at the local region. So it is you who puts things into place. Just a word of caution from our experience and what we have observed over the last many examinations conducted, that first, there should be no mutual exchange of supervising examiners. That should be totally avoided. Secondly, appointment of the same supervising examiner at the same examination center each year. Try and avoid it as far as possible. Right? Again, we have also noted that I understand it is being done correctly by most of you, where the conveners put together a pool of invigilators, and from that pool of invigilators they are sent out each day as per the schedule of the respective ISC and ICSE examinations. But we do get feedbacks where sometimes that responsibility had been left to the supervising examiner. So that should again be avoided, so that there is no problems and there are no issues arising where complaints will come back to us. There was a question raised by one of the schools, I will not mention the school, with regard to local fee. Now again, the charge of local fee is left to the discretion of our conveners, and in big cities where you have multiple zonal conveners, that's where the role of the coordinating convener comes into play, where they hold a meeting and decide that this is what the local fee should be. Again, the school that had raised it said, why should a local fee be charged at all? Again, this is something for your specific school. So in your school, if you feel you do not want to charge the local fee and you will bear the cost, That is up to that particular school. Next slide.
Slides of the presentation, and finally I get to speak. Thank you. Yeah, is it audible now? Thank you. So, good afternoon, respected Dr. Emmanuel, the Executive Committee members of the Council, the ASIC Executive Committee members, Mr. Aratun, our Chief Executive and Secretary, and my dear colleagues. And dear friends, I know you are all friends now because of so many years of association, though we don't get to meet very often, but like I'm popularly known. I know because my experience has been like, okay, I'm a phone friend. So whenever there is a problem, there's an advice required. Let me tell you that that's the way the officers in the council are trained, all of us. You know, that's the training that we got from Mr. Aratun, where he's always told us that, you know, you have to be available 24/7. The phone, the email that's been given to us. So that's how, under his guidance, it's the way the council works. And a little while ago, when Sir said that we are not just child-friendly, we are school-friendly, we are principal-friendly. So that's how we are available 24/7. So to take this presentation further, I know Mr. Solar put it very mildly. A lot of things which the conveners that are present here have to make a note of. First of all, appointment of supervising examiners, visiting examiners, inspectors, special coordinators, invigilators. Please do not mind my harsh words, is your problem, is your responsibility. You cannot pass on that responsibility either to the supervising examiner or to the head of the school who has a center under your convenership. What you're supposed to do and what the idea behind it is that the school, from the schools, you take the names of teachers who are to be appointed as supervising examiners or as invigilators or as visiting examiners, and as a convener you create a pool of these resource people and then develop a matrix. It is not going to be convenient that 1 year there is a supervising examiner going from school A to B, will continue to do so for the rest of 10-20 years or till that teacher decides to retire or resign or get transferred. You need to please make sure every day, there cannot be a comfort zone created between the supervising examiner and the examination center. You have to make sure that you change the matrix or the responsibilities assigned every year. Please do it every year as the convener. And also appointment of invigilators. We know, though we do not ask you to upload the details of invigilators, there are certain places where your own school teachers become the invigilators from primary school or nursery school, which is not accepted. That's not the done thing. The invigilator, we very clearly mention in our instructions to the schools, invigilators are the teachers who are teachers but not invigilate the students of their own school. It does not mean do not invigilate students whom you are not teaching. It does not read that anywhere. So please make sure, please do not force council to tighten the noose and make things more difficult for you, and then the conveners will start cribbing if we ask you to submit the details of invigilators, and very soon we start approving every invigilator appointed. So after that, so that was one of the points that Mr. Solar made, and I wanted to talk a little about it because this is a problem which is reported to us and obviously it creates difficulty for the school and for the convener for the following year's examination. Now we come to ISC conduct of practical examinations. For the examination year 2023, I'm sure you already have received the circulars and the guidelines, and also all the subject-wise instructions have been received. The examination will be conducted, practical exam in the same manner we've been conducting it for the we've conducted the year for the 2021 and 2022. So we follow the same method of conducting the practicals this year. The only point you need to make sure when you're conducting the practicals, all students of your school who are supposed to take the practical exam, take the exam. You've been given the flexibility to conduct the practical in the batches. You know, it's like obviously because COVID hasn't gone, we are insisting on the 6 feet distance between students. We are still insisting on sanitization of equipment and apparatus before the next batch comes in. Therefore, this form methodology is continuing for year 2023. But what the point that I'm trying to make here is you as a head of the school has to be responsible and be aware that out of 200 students taking the practical, how many have taken and how many are yet to take. There is a possibility that in this particular batch, a child was absent, unwell, or there was some reason. In the next batch, you accommodate the child. It is not for the council to call up the schools when the result is being processed that we see, okay, child is coming for all theory exams and for all practicals, the child has been marked absent. Let me tell you, it's not for the council to call up or to remind the school. It is, as head of the school, completely your responsibility to ensure that all children of your school who are taking the examination, either they submit their project work. Can you imagine we get cases where the principal says that the child did not do anything and did not submit a project because we see a 0, and when we call back to find out what's happened, it speaks a lot about the school. You are the one who is in touch with the child, who knows the child, knows the kind of problem the child is facing. So it's for us to ensure, because remember these are 20 or crucial marks. It's a board exam and class 12 terminal exam that's happening. So we cannot afford to put up a child who has not submitted a single project. And because not submitted, you could not get the child assessed. Obviously the child gets a 0 or is marked as an absent. And here when we process the result, we find out such cases and then we start calling up the schools. That, we are always under the impression that there could be a typo error or data entry error, and because of that, to rule that out, we call you up. Sometimes 10 gets data entry time, there's an error, 10 gets transcribed as 0. So we have our own checks and balances. The point I'm trying to make is, as head of the school, it's your responsibility more than the council to make sure when you submit the details, students appear for the practical exam, you have all children who are eligible or who are taking the theory exam appear and are assessed for the practical component of the subject. The next point that is relevant to this particular slide is appointment of visiting examiners. The conveners who are present here, the ISC conveners, it's very specific to ISC conveners, they must have noticed that what we have done, we've migrated the data of visiting examiners who were approved for the year 2023 only for your convenience, because obviously the data is quite a bit and visiting examiners are quite a few in number. You need to approve them. Where if the teacher still exists, has not retired, has not resigned, you want to appoint the particular teacher, you have to do nothing. Just because it's already been approved in the approved stage, all you have to do is make sure that the contact details, the phone number, the email ID of the teacher who's been appointed as a visiting examiner is correct. And this is especially for the conveners who have taken up the responsibility for the first time. And please make sure, because this has also been communicated to all conveners through an email informing you that how come the data of visiting examiners, suddenly there is so much of information and you've already received all the approved visiting examiners. Then, the last date for submission, please make a note of it. We keep sending reminders. We make sure we do our duty timely. We remind schools, knowing very well that 28th February is long away from, we still have about 3 months from now, 3.5 months. There are times when we might just miss the deadline. So please make a note of it in your calendar that 28th February 2023 is the last date for submission of all marks of ISC practical project and SUPW grade. Similarly, for ICSC, there is a component of internal mark submission, which this module also has been activated for the schools, and for the schools to start getting the project work assessed, especially the schools in Hills, which will be very soon closing next month. So they need to make sure their assessment is all complete. Children have submitted the project, and you also upload the marks. The last date for doing so is 31st January 2023. Now here you need to make note of two important things. One, remember group 1 and group 2 subjects have, and group 3 subjects have different maximum marks. No? Group 3 has how many? 100. So maximum marks for group 3 project work is 100, and group 1 and 2? 20. So I'm glad you are aware of it. But when the marks are submitted for group 3 also, marks out of 20 are uploaded instead of 100. There are schools that will upload marks out of 20, and when the result is declared, you realize, oh, we made a mistake, children have lost how many marks, and then there are representations, and then there are cries and letters and all. And then even before that, when council is doing all, like I said, we have our own checks and balances, we realize that for a 100-mark paper, school has uploaded marks out of 20. So just before, you don't need to be there when the marks are being entered. All you need to do is make sure that before the marks are entered, they are correct. Whoever's doing it, as I'm sure as head of the school, it's your responsibility to make sure, because these are important data that is being submitted to the council, the correct data is provided. All you have to do is, and let me also tell you, not that we have a problem in getting calls. School staff is more comfortable talking to the council than talking to their own principal. They think it's easier to pick up the phone, call up the council. So sometimes you have to tell them, did you check this fact from the head of your school? And they said no. So we have to tell them, first speak to your principal and then come back to us. Therefore, why am I making this point? Not that we have any problem. We obviously, like I said, we are always available. But it's important for you to be also in touch with the council activities which are not directly being handled by you, but so that you are aware that the data that or the information being provided to the council is 100% correct. Then again, SUPW grade E. See, I know you have a problem. There's a child who does not do any project, does not submit. First of all, again, that's a problem with the teacher or with the school that you are not able to work through on. When the child is not able to submit, there's definitely a problem with the child. So it's for us, take it on as a head of the school to see which is the child who's not been able to submit, because remember, giving an E in SUPW means even if child gets 100 on 100 in all papers, child gets a failed grade. It does not get a pass certificate, child would be awarded a PCNA if there is an E in SUPW. Then the council has to call up all such schools for all these students who have been awarded an E to reconfirm. Sometimes principals, I've had a case many years ago where principal wanted to punish the child. Because the child, I'm telling you, I know the name of the school, I'll not name it, but this child principal wanted to punish. So even after we insisted a couple of times, then there is a problem, why is council interested? So child school gave an E, and obviously the result was pass certificate not awarded. The principal came in later with a request that now give the child the grade. Council will not do such things. No, it's not you've been warned once, twice, then it's very late in the day. We don't change results like this. No. So you have to make sure when you submit, these are little things which are very important, and remember these are public examinations, everybody is anxious, but your responsibility is much more than as a board because you are in touch with students on daily basis. And also one point regarding ISC practicals, all the practicals to be conducted are given in either in the guidelines. For further details, you please refer to the ISC syllabus and regulations. Now we come to the ISC pattern of question papers. I'm sure you must have noticed from the 2022 was a roller coaster ride for all of us. I'll not get into those details. We had MCQ questions for semester 1, and for semester 2 we had a mix. The paper was kind of a mixed bag where we had MCQ, we had one answer, one line answer, we had very short answer questions, short answer, and we had long answer, and somewhere we had case studies and reasoning questions also. So that the change has happened. The question papers are covering the syllabus in its entirety, but we are also giving choice. But yes, you must have seen the choice is now limited. The children are expected to cover the entire syllabus. The syllabus is there, but yes, internal choice has been continued to being offered to students. The questions are testing not just knowledge or recall skills. We are testing higher skills that are being talked about in NEP, and my dear colleagues have also spoken about it, where we are talking about testing of higher order thinking skills. We are talking about giving testing concepts in familiar real life situations, and also giving, encouraging critical thinking in students, and this is here to stay. And like assessment again is one of the key recommendation change in the pattern of assessment of NEP. This comes even as part of that. And every year, this year, we would be talking about maybe again change in 2024 in the way we test the kind of question papers that we would be giving to the schools. For that again, specimen papers will be provided, but request is that the specimens of 23 that are available with you, you are requested to follow that pattern for your class 9 and class 11 exam for 2023, and for your junior classes also. Slowly, the same pattern should be included for the classes below class 9, so that they are you are basically training them to that level. Then we had provided specimen question papers for all schools, like I said, for 23 in July. There was one of the questions where somebody said, one of the schools have said that mass media question specimens were not there, but let me tell you, because I went back to check for both ICSE and ISE, mass media and communication specimen question papers are available. If you haven't received it, you can always get back to us on email. We will send you a separate copy as an attachment can be sent to you. Okay, the stationery has been ordered. This is the new answer booklets for ICSE and ISC. The last date has been much longer over. We've extended last date of schools to indent for their stationery. For some schools who, I don't know what to say, who still haven't ordered for their stationery, I'm sure they are busy with something more important than this. For ISC, we have 18 such schools that have still not placed their order. I don't know how will they conduct the exam. And for ICSE, we have 46 such schools. I'm not naming the schools here because I know schools will not be very happy if I take the names here, but I would definitely want to tell you, there's one school, this is for ISC, one school from Andhra Pradesh, one school from Bihar, 2 schools in Jharkhand, 3 in Punjab, 1 in Rajasthan, 6 in Uttar Pradesh, and 4 in West Bengal that have not placed the order for their examination stationery. ISC year 2023. We have sent mails to all these schools. If you still, the school will know which school we are referring to here. If you haven't done it till date, we've opened the portal for you till 15th of this month. Please make sure you place the order for your stationery. I have the figures for ICSE also. Arunachal 2 schools, Chhattisgarh 1, Haryana 1, Jharkhand 3, Karnataka 9, Kerala 2, Maharashtra 3, Odisha 3, Punjab 3, Tamil Nadu 1, Uttar Pradesh 6, Uttarakhand 3, West Bengal 9. 46 schools, again ICSE also has sent reminders, please make sure you place yours, because sometimes there are schools, day before the exam they will realize they don't have the stationery, and again, I know you will not like it, that's not our problem. That's a problem, you should have made sure that your stationery is ordered, you have put in, because we've sent reminders multiple times, and you know you have these, I'm sure conveners have meetings, I will request all the conveners present here, make a check with your schools that all the schools under your convenership have placed the order, and if there's any school that has not, please ensure that they place the order before 15th November. Then the answer script envelopes, there is again a government order where we have been told that answer script envelopes from 31st of December cannot be less than 120 micron. There's a plastic has a strength, and it has to be recyclable. So I would request all the schools that are presenting candidates for 2023 not to use the leftover answer script envelopes after 31st December. If you are conducting your practicals, and you can use them before 31st December if any of the schools have to dispatch their answer booklets, answer scripts for practical. But for 23 theory exams, use only the new answer script envelopes that will be provided to you along with the answer scripts. When you answer booklets, when you receive the stationery from the supplier, you will also receive, in case you are short of these envelopes, please, the conveners may contact us. We will send you some extra for you to keep for the centers under your convenership. You can always provide them on need base.
Just to add a point to the order of stationery, I know we did say that there were 18 and 46 schools respectively for the ICSE and ISC that have not ordered. Now there is one more point of concern which we had noticed, is that the stationery, there was a shortfall of stationery, because like we keep saying, we randomly check every stage of the examination to see that everything is in order. So when we checked the stationery order made by schools, we have noticed that there was a shortfall, particularly of the additional sheets, and not a small number. Both for the ICSE as well as the ISC, we had as many as 200 schools plus who have ordered less stationery. So a request, we have, both the sections have sent an email to school. We've given you time till I think the 15th of November to please check and then order the balance of the stationery. Because what will happen is, when you are in the middle of the examinations and you realize you have fallen short of additional sheets, under normal circumstances we advise, okay, go to the neighboring school, borrow a few, and then you can have them replaced. But what will happen if all the schools in that region have a shortfall? Who do they turn to? So therefore, we have sent an email to schools saying, please check for shortfall and order immediately. So I would request all principals present, get back to your schools today by telephone and find out whether you have received an email telling you about the shortfall and order immediately. The next point we would like to discuss is with regards to the appointment of evaluating examiners. Now again, this is an important duty and responsibility of all heads of schools. In the first instance, you should ensure that the names of the teachers in your school have been updated in the affiliation module. That's the first point you should check, every single principal. Secondly, please update and submit nominations under more clarification, which would be lying in the portal with the schools. So you've got to check, update that, and resubmit to the CISC without any delay. Like I said, this is an important duty and responsibility of each head of the school. Now, to facilitate and to assist the CISC to declare the results in a timely manner, heads of schools, I am reiterating, should nominate their teachers as examiners. Now, why am I repeating this point? Because right till the time of the COE, where that is a condition, before you confirm students for 10 and 12, if there is a shortfall, we write to the school through the system where they say, please nominate a teacher for, let's say, English language, or a teacher required for the subject Hindi. But what we have observed over the years, as soon as the confirmation of entries is done, we have widespread withdrawals of teachers as examiners. Now, on the one hand, you want that we should declare the results on time, and on the other hand, if there is a shortfall of examiners, how do we meet targets? They are all interrelated. So it is an earnest request that please do not withdraw your teachers as examiners unless urgently required for medical reasons or whatever. Then we request you that if it is imperative that you should withdraw an examiner, please replace them. Because both between the ISC and the ICSC, we require more than 20,000 plus examiners. So if there is a shortfall, you will not get your results on time. Also, please speak to your teachers, all heads of schools, that they are not to withdraw on their own. We have seen that happening year after year, where teachers are writing directly to us, maybe with your knowledge or without your knowledge, and they say we do not want to. So we request all such teachers who would want to withdraw, even for genuine reasons, it should come through the principals of the school. We interact directly with you. So let that protocol be put into place. Now there were some questions again related to the examiners and evaluation, and some have requested that why can't an ICSE examiner also evaluate ISC in the same year? That's not possible. One cannot be evaluating both ICSE and ISC in the same examination year. Not possible. However, it's not that we are saying the teacher cannot be upgraded. If a teacher is upgraded, for some time has been teaching 9 and 10, then has upgraded by you to 11 and 12, then surely in the following year or years, you could nominate those examiners for the ISC examination too. Right? Another question was with regards to the same teacher who's a supervising examiner, does not get the opportunity to evaluate. Again, all of you are vastly experienced. All right? So if you appoint the same teacher year after year as the supervising examiner, then that person will not get an opportunity to actually evaluate. So it is requested that internally, you as heads and very experienced heads of schools, you rotate them. You rotate them so that they get the experience and know how to conduct an examination, and they also get a chance to evaluate either at the ICSE level or at the ISC level. Evaluation centers, we would be starting this module soon, and again it is a request from the CISC to all heads of schools that when you get a request to host an evaluation center, please do so and confirm at the earliest. I know very, very rare, on rare occasions, we get a decline for very valid reasons, that the school is being renovated and whatever. But again, like I said initially, that the CISC cannot function without your assistance and cooperation at all times. And this is a very, very vital area. We need your schools as evaluation centers. And again, just a word to all of you. I know you have been doing extremely well and cooperating with all the examiners, and we thank you for that. Again, all that we require you to give our examiners is just provide the basic amenities. If you can give more than that, that's up to you. But we require the very basic amenities to be given to our examiners so that they can evaluate properly under a good environment and that things work out well for all of us. Commencement of the examinations for the year 2023. We received the maximum number of questions from all our heads of schools, all keenly wanting to know when we would have or when we would start the examinations in 2023. For the ISC, it is tentatively the third week of February. And for the ICSE, it will probably be from the last week of February. Now, we did receive, besides asking the question of when are we starting so that you can prepare your academic year, we also got questions relating to reducing the number of days for the examinations. Now, just to briefly explain that when we are planning our dates for the examination, we have to see multiple factors, all right? We look at the national holidays, we look at regional and local holidays, we look at where subjects may be clashing, we look at the necessity of having gaps between one subject and the next. So keeping all these factors in mind, we cannot really reduce it to a difficult level of examination period so that the students have a problem. So therefore, a lot of thought goes into it, and then we set our timetables. Another question again that was asked was the early release of the timetable. I know all of you are very keen to actually get the hard copy of the timetable in your hands so that you can then share it with your teachers and your students. Again, this is related to the confirmation of the candidates appearing both for the ICSE as well as the ISC examinations. Until date, we are yet to get that complete data. So until and unless that entire data reaches us, we cannot share the timetable with you. But you can look forward to that probably in the month of December. Right? So with that, I will now hand over back to Ms. Sangeeta Bhatia, who will take you through the concluding part of this session. The only reason why we are alternating it, because either one of us would be very monotonous. So we said, just to break the monotony, we will alternate it. So Ms. Bhatia will take you through the final session of this presentation. Thank you very much.
So that is, I think 2023 is taken care of. We move on to the examination year 2024. That's the children who are in class 9 and class 11. We completed the registration of students after extending the dates a couple of times. November 7th, 2022 was the last day when the registrations got over. We still have some schools that have not yet completed, but those would be handled on case-to-case basis. But majority of schools have completed the registration of students for the year 2024. For this year, we have had 2,694 schools that have registered, 2,56,000 plus students for the class 10 exam. And for class 12, 1,354 schools have registered 1 lakh plus students for the year ISC 2024 exam. Now with this comes in a few questions and our answers. There is one question that why can't the students be allowed to offer computer science with biology? It's been said repeatedly in the presentation and the schools are aware. Council has no strict streams. Council has at no point stopped schools from offering computer to the students who are studying biology. It's completely up to the school. There are cases, there are schools that offer history students physics and also biology, or they also offer them economics. So there are varied subjects. They take art, they take bio, they may take accounts, they may take a language, they may take English. So it's completely up to the school what the number of subjects you want to offer to your students. So from our side, there are no hard and fast rules. And for further information, request is read the regulation booklet, which very clearly says English is the only compulsory subject. After that, you can take 3, 4 or 5 subjects. And we also, there is one more question where can the students be allowed to change subjects in class 11 once they've been registered? The straight answer is no. Once the child has been registered and have obviously your last date goes up to, I think most of the time in a normal year we go up to 15 September, extended up to 30th September. So you are requested to make sure you are able to evaluate their first term exam in the normal year. Normally in a normal year by 30th September you have all the details, but yes, there are sometimes children who have some learning difficulty and they are not able to cope. These cases are considered on a case-to-case basis. I'm not saying it is not done at all, but as a policy, the answer is no. But on a special representation, the cases are put up, and if merit is there in the case, they are considered and we give accordingly a decision is taken. Then the question was, is a candidate eligible to give the supplementary exam after gap of 3-4 years? Yes, you can take supplementary exam after whatever number of years. There is no age limit to that. Then for eligibility, we have issued eligibility till date to 5,679 students who've taken admission in ISC from other boards, and this is what we have processed. There are requests still coming in whether mark sheets are being delayed by other boards, and wherever we are receiving on case-to-case basis, the cases are considered as long as student has been admitted in your school by 31st of August 2022. Then we like to just a second. Like you to make the note of contact numbers. These are the ICSE officers, wherein Mr. Sola already informed you the office, Noida office. These are the 4 contact persons you can get in touch for any ICSE matter. Similarly, for ISE matters, these are the contact numbers of all the officers who are handling various tasks. You can get in touch with these officers. Then for communication, please make sure, we all repeatedly said, you use the official email ID that the council has issued to all the schools, and communication received through an email ID which we do not recognize, we do not communicate with the schools on that email ID. So make sure you have head@theschoolcode.cisc.org, that's your email ID which you communicate with us through. Other means of communication are, we communicate with schools through the careers portal, that's our intranet kind of a thing, internal communication channel that we have in schools, where we upload all our circulars, we send you, when the circular is uploaded, SMSs are sent, and in certain cases we get in touch with our schools through telephone also. And from 2023 exam, Council is considering to hold the supplementary exam along with the compartment exam. That means in one subject, if the child wants to improve, they want to improve their score in one subject, they will be allowed. It is still being considered. Once the circular, the decision is finalized, all the schools will be informed through a circular, and you will be allowed to submit the entries of such candidates after the results are declared. So when I say we, it means the council and the schools, the heads of schools, we look forward to this continued growth and progression, with the CISE students achieving greater stature not just in the national but also international domain, and our students achieving greater milestones and carving a place for themselves in the world. So thank you so much once again for giving me this session. Thank you so much.
And welcome to the exciting world of CISC Games and Sports. The CISC has always firmly believed and stressed on the holistic development of the child in body, mind and spirit. So while academics and examination, about which we discussed for so long, we also realize the importance and the role of sports and games in a child's life. And the most important part, NEP 2020 has also emphasized on the importance of sports in education. We started the CISC National Games in the year 2018 with a definite purpose. It was our duty and responsibility to give our children a platform for them to showcase their talents and to further the growth and development of such talents at the national and international levels. I will just run you through the CISC Sports and Games structure. We start with the CISC Zonal and Regional Sports and Games throughout the country, followed by the CISC National Sports and Games. The selected students thereafter represent the CISC at the National School Games or the SDFI. But it is not the end. From the SDFI, they get the platform for representing their respective states at the Khelo India Games. Last but not the least, they have the opportunity to represent the school in the Asian and the International School Games. After a long gap of 2 years due to the deadly COVID pandemic, we were happy to bring back soccer with the CISC Pre-Subroto Cup in Kolkata during the month of July. We conducted the regional Pre-Subroto Cup throughout the country, and around 175 schools participated in that tournament. From the 175 schools, we selected the 12 best regional schools who came to Kolkata to fight themselves, amongst themselves. The final match was between the St. Paul School, Odisha and Bombay Scottish, Maharashtra. St. Paul School was the winner of the CISC National Pre-Subroto Cup and represented CISC at the 61st Subroto Cup International Tournament held at Delhi. Some glimpses of the CISC Pre-Subroto Cup held at Kolkata. Next. Next. Ladies and gentlemen, you are aware, organization of any games, and if it is of CISC's regional national games, it is of utmost importance that it is to be planned and prepared in a proper manner. The Council looks forward to its affiliated school in this regard. For this purpose, the Council has appointed 12 regional principal coordinators to assist in the conduct of those events. Let me introduce, all of them are present here, starting with Dr. Emmanuel, leading the Northwest region, Mr. Christopher Agnello Francis for the Bihar and Jharkhand region, Dr. Gayatri Devi heading the Karnataka region, Father James Mulasari for the Kerala region, Mrs. Perrine Bagli for the Maharashtra and Goa region, Sister Selvi for the Odisha region, Mrs. Nirmal Kaur from the North India region, Dr. N.K. Charles from the Tamil Nadu and Puducherry region, Mr. Sudhir Joshi for the Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand region, Mr. Ranjan Meter from the West Bengal and Northeast region, and last but not the least, Mrs. Eve Sundari from AP Telangana and Mrs. Yasmin Burhani from the MP and Chhattisgarh region. We thank all of you, sir and madam, for your support and cooperation in conducting the CISC regional and national games. I hope you are aware, we have released this CISC Sports and Games Handbook, and this was sent to all our affiliated schools. Now I will inform you, and you have seen our newly launched website. Just adjacent to the NEP tile, there will be the sports tile. And in the sports tile, you will be getting all required information, including this book, the SDFI schedule, the CISC camp schedule, everything. So we will request all our schools to check our website on periodic basis. With the help of the principal coordinators, we started our national games in the month of September. And the first region to start was the Bihar Jharkhand region with the boxing and yoga championship. It was followed by the Karnataka region who organized the swimming championship, karate, badminton, hockey. Now we can see the cricket and the Kho-Kho championship held at the Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand region. The West Bengal region came forward in hosting the lawn tennis Kabaddi championship along with football. The Maharashtra region successfully conducted the football, cricket and the athletics championship. Carom and cricket championship was held at the AP and Telangana region. The National Taekwondo and Skating Championship was held at the Northeast region. The CISC National Chess and Rugby Championship was held in the North India region. The National Volleyball Cricket Championship was held at the Tamil Nadu region. We do not have the photograph, but the host region of this event, Kerala, had also done the football championship very successfully. We thank you all again. Now we will come to the most important part, the concerns and the challenges that was faced during these games that was being conducted. Now we need your attention so that going forward these challenges are taken care of. The most important challenge that I or the council feels is the non-participation of our affiliated schools. We have 2,750 schools that we are all aware of, out of which the question that comes to our mind, why only 175 schools has participated in the pre-Subrata Cup? And there is another data from the Karnataka region that out of the 400 affiliated schools from that region, why only 100 schools has come forward? We need to ask these questions to ourselves and to give our children an opportunity. All schools need to come forward. Next concern was the parents and the PE teachers interacting with the principals. Now, PE teachers can be accepted, but why the parents? So, principals of the participating schools needs to keep this in mind. While communicating with the respective principal coordinators, you need to communicate and not the parents of the participating students. There was some confusion regarding the registration fees, and for that reason we need to check the CISC sports handbook that has been circulated to all, and it is available in our website also. The registration fees was clearly mentioned in the page 2 of the book, so there should not be any confusion in our minds going forward. Very important, since it is sports, we need the team coaches and managers. But in certain instances, the behavior of the team coaches and managers was disappointing and not as per the sportsman spirit that we see. This has to be checked and controlled, and we need to inculcate the best practices among our coaches and managers going forward. One of the most alarming problems that has been reported to me, as well as I have personally seen while visiting many of the events, interference and over-involvement of the parents. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not want to take any harsh measures, just like prohibiting the parents from attending the sports event. But they also need to understand that this is sports, and someone will win and someone will lose. And it has to be taken with the sportsman spirit. So I will request all the principals present here to educate and inform the parents to behave in a properly manner going forward in the coming years. Now another important concern that from council that we feel, many schools are there with lovely infrastructure. They should come forward and help the regional coordinators in conducting the zonal and regional games at their region. Next. Now, coming to the SGFI games, the National School Games 2022, there was a confusion in our minds whether these games will happen or not. It has been informed and clarified by the ministry that these games are going to happen after the election is being conducted therein. So we are ready, and our children have been selected and they are ready to participate in the SGFI games. As and when information is available to us, we will inform all the participating students. Please remember, as my colleagues has already mentioned, that all information relating to the sports will come from the sports mail ID, and it will be given to the head's mail ID and not to the other email IDs that have been used. So please check the head's mail ID for sports related emails. In 2018-19, when the SGFI games was there, we had seen some challenges or some errors. We would just like to point out those errors that was noted. In the SGFI eligibility form, on the very top, in the state unit column, please remember, it will not be Maharashtra, Karnataka or Gujarat. It will be only CISC. The word discipline in the form is the name of the games, that is football, volleyball or cricket. The two other things, there are 3 signatures just in the back, in the form. Out of these 3 signatures, the participating school principal needs to sign only on the first column and to keep the second and third columns as blank. Please. Next. The 3 most important documents that is required to be submitted with the SGFI eligibility form, I hope all of you are aware. The photocopy of the birth certificate, photocopy of the Aadhaar card and photocopy of the previous year report card attested by the principal. Next. We need your help and support again in this area. Coaches and managers of SGFI has to be from our schools only, and in case of girls event, we need a lady coach or lady PE teacher from your school. Before the SGFI event, we need to conduct conditioning camps for certain events. We will be needing your help in organizing these conditioning camps in your region. I would like to remind you this CISC Sports Award, which was introduced in the year 2018. This year, unfortunately, since there was no SGFI games for the last 2 years, there is no such award, but we are hopeful, and this is the award money that coming forward in the next conference, we can see our students getting this award. Very important event and a very prestigious achievement from our school, the Fit India School Quiz 2021. And here you can see from the data that 13,500 schools participated all over the country. And from those 13,500 schools, 360 schools were selected for their states. And out of those 360 schools, I am very happy to share, in the states of Maharashtra, we can see the students Tanay Gautam Sheth and Akash Vishwanath from the PG Garodia School receiving the award from the Honorable Sports Minister Sri Anurag Thakur. So ladies and gentlemen, in case of Maharashtra as well as Punjab, that is North India, YPS Mohali, our schools was the winner all India. Next. So now is the time. You have to register for the Fit India School Quiz 2022. The last date has been extended to 15th of November. The registration is very simple. The link has been given. I will request all the principal coordinators to communicate to all the member schools so that our maximum students can participate this year. The CISC Sports Help Desk, all mails has to be routed to sports@cisc.org along with a copy to dsfin@cisc.org. We will share a sports helpline number with all of the schools very soon. Our future plans, as told by my colleagues, every information relating to the sports we intend to keep in our website so that there is no lack of communication between the schools and the participants. We intend to participate in the Yoga Olympiad and also to introduce the game of handball from the next year. I will just end my presentation with this quote from a famous American footballer. You can motivate by fear, you can motivate by reward, but both those methods are only temporary. The only lasting thing is self-motivation, and I take this opportunity to request all of you to motivate ourselves so that we can give to our students the best possible CISC games and sports in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Basu. I think, Joseph, we are running out of time. So, we we end or we take questions? 137, 5 questions. Well, we will only take 5 questions. Will somebody give him the mic? Yeah.
I myself, Dr. B. Kaur from Rautela, Odisha, OR025.
Yeah.
I have a question regarding the sports. This year, we have conducted all regional sports and games, but most of the students are not able to participate at the national games because there is no funding from the council side or from the regional side for the games. Athletics, there was funding from the regional side, so students participated in athletics, but in most of the games like volleyball, throwball, students are not able to participate because
we will look into this matter.
Yes, sir. If council can do something, but
we will look into the matter. Thank you.
Okay.
Next question.
Good afternoon, sir. My question is regarding the upgradation of ISC. So, as we are aware that the NOC is most important document to upgrade the ISC, that is 11th and 12th. Since most of 1,500 plus schools have been upgraded, and more than 1,000 schools have to be upgraded for the ISC. In this regard, I just want to ask you, is it possible to escape that the NOC from the government of region-wise to upgrade the ISC? So it is really very difficult to approach the NOC to upgrade with an ISC. Is there any plan to take out?
We are revising our affiliation rules.
Okay.
Very soon. So we will inform you regarding this point.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, sir. So this was regarding where for class 12 students, when they're going for their higher studies abroad, the consultants are asking us for the predicted score of the board exams. So could we give them the predicted score to the students?
Yes, ma'am, that's what the school can give. You can give them the predicted.
And on what basis can I give them the predicted score?
You have your own school exams, pre-boards normally, that's what the school's based on. You can take guidance from the schools who are already issuing predicted scores.
Okay.
Your colleagues, it's normally on the pre-board results.
Okay, thank you.
Next question.
Namaste everyone. I had a couple of questions about the new Group 3 pattern which was shared. One, is it effective from examination year 2025?
Yes.
Second, if the children are allowed 2 Group 3 subjects, is it that they will have 7 subjects then?
Yes.
So when will that be taught? I mean, that's optional after school hours, or how does it work? Just
Well, as of now, even students are taking 7 paid subjects.
okay.
So, with the new pattern that we are putting into place, now the schools will have to make provision. If you are offering it to them, then it is your responsibility to fit that into your academic calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is, if you are willing to give that, if you are offering it, then you have to make arrangements. Thank you.
And last question.
Good afternoon, sir. Madams on the stage. My question is now, with the COP27 going on presently, is climate change and things like this going to be added onto the curriculum?
See, we will be reviewing our curriculum. See, the national curriculum framework is yet to come out for the secondary stage. Once the curriculum comes out, we will be reviewing the curriculum, and definitely all immediate concerns, all current concerns will be built into the curriculum.
Yeah, one last thing from me, sir. This is with regard to the date of birth of children for the sports. This has created a lot of problem in many events, and Mr. Arjun may be aware. Like for example, a child born in 2000, why should they get a date of birth certificate just 3-4 months before the event?
They do this even to get admission into schools. So further, we will be revisiting our rules for the sports. So we will take a note of this, right? Thank you very much, everybody, for being so patient in hearing all our presentations. So thank you, may God bless you, and have a safe journey back home.